There is a Swahili saying that goes, uchungu wa mwana ujuae ni mzazi. And oh boy, how true that is. The couple whose testimony we are about to share knows this only too well, and maybe even better than most of us. A story of two people who were joined together in a holy matrimony with big dreams and a brighter future ahead of them. Meet Michael and Sarah Katembu as they share the evidence of the hope that is in them.
My name is Sarah Katembu. I'm a mother of one and a wife to Katembu. I was raised in Bura, that is Buratana, that's where I was born. I went to school in Embu, a school called Betty Academy that is in Kiritiri. And then for my high school, I went to Nzeluni Girls. Nzeluni Girls is in Mwingi. And then later on, I went to Kenyatta University for my degree, that is Bachelor in Education.
My name is Michael Katembu Mutua. Sarah is my wife and a father to one boy called Liam Katembu. I was born in Kitui County. That's where I come from. And I went to primary school in Kitui County called Kavililo Primary School in Migwani sub-county. Then I went to Kitui High School for my high school education. From there I went to JQAT to do my degree in IT. So up to now I'm an IT expert.
It is a well-known fact that is also biblical that two cannot work together unless they are in agreement. Otherwise, they walk apart. So when did Mike discover that it is not good for him to be alone?
We met for the first time in 2013 or 2014?
2013 December.
Yeah, no. It was 2014
January.
In February. On February 14th, Valentine's Day. So when this guy told me I need to meet you on Valentine's Day, I was so sure that this guy must be single. Because, so when we met, I fell in love.
Never mind, Mike didn't remember the date he first saw his wife. Even Adam didn't. He was asleep when God brought him his wife. And Mike was awake, but he's no different. And so are many of us. We don't remember many of these important moments. So Mike and Sarah got married in a colorful wedding on 8th of August 2015. And they planned, like many other families, to have children. And of course, starting with one. Now what followed is their testimony.
When we got married, our plan was to have a baby like immediately. We tried for a baby for 10 months, and finally I got paged in May. I remember my pregnancy was very smooth from first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. I would get sick in the evening. I don't want to do anything. I come from work and all I want to do is lie on the couch. But thank God for a supportive husband who would come and cook and all that. He cooked for quite a while during the first trimester. Then second trimester was smooth, very smooth. Third trimester, maneno sasa iliharibikia hapo. It was tough. I remember I could not even sleep. I could not sleep because I was big, the kicks were too much. So you find that sometimes I would sleep at around 3. My due date was on 6th February. Yes, on 6th February. So I hope all of you remember Agneta. Agneta is our neighbor. And our due dates were the same. So I remember we would share our experiences. And then I remember her baby came on 1st February. Yes, on 1st February. So after Agneta's baby came, pressure sasa build up. I was like, Agneta's baby has come. When will my time come? I was very anxious. My mother-in-law had come a week earlier just to be with me and just to encourage me and wait for the baby with me. So I remember that day I told my mother-in-law, "Ay mom, today is today. Leo lazima mtoto akuje." So I remember I went to nilienda nikachukua clinic bag, nikakuja I wanted to show her what I had packed and all that. My mother-in-law is very prayerful. So she told me that hata mimi leo nimeomba and today we have to go to hospital. So in the morning I went for a walk and then nikarudi kwa nyumba. In the evening she told me, do you still have energy? Nikamwambia, yeah, I have energy. Akaniambia, then maybe we can go with you for a walk as we talk. So we just walked out with my mother-in-law and tukatembea. We walked for quite a distance, then came back. So immediately I got to the house, my water broke. I called my husband, nikamwambia. So he came and we went to the hospital. So when we got to Guru Nanak, I remember we were very excited. All of us were excited about the fact that now this is it. The baby is finally coming home, So we went to hospital and I remember the doctors checked me. When they checked me, I had not dilated, even 1 centimeter. The nurses told me that they now have to induce me because after my water had broken, there's no way that I could go back home to wait for labor. So I was not in pain at all. So the real drama started at around 12. So the gyna came, so he checked again. So he told me that he would come back at 6. And because he was so sure that by 6 I will be fully dilated and the baby will be here.
Wow. So you've dated this guy who is the love of your life. You get married and you plan when to get your baby. You try, no baby in sight. Then bam, God says, you know what? My plans are not your plans. I bring the baby in my time. And after the countdown beginning 9 months ago, it's now just about 4 hours and everybody is anxious. Even the mother-in-law, the pastor, friends and relatives. It is the moment they've all been waiting for. But then, what happens next?
So at around 6, I remember I went to the washroom. So when I went to the washroom, my discharge had changed. It had changed to baby's poop now, Liam's poop. So when I saw that, I was so scared. I called the nurses. My hubby called the nurses. And so I was told that there's an emergency. So yes.
The reason we are saying this is because we believe it's a whole testimony. God did a miracle for us. So by that time, she was just checking her discharge from almost 10 minutes she checks, every time. So that time she checked and the discharge has changed. And from what we had been told, and actually what we have gotten from one of our neighbors, is that if that discharge is like that, usually means the baby has pooped in the womb, and it's very dangerous. So it was very scary. In fact, that neighbor of ours, when it happened that way, the baby passed on.
True.
Yeah. So now all the excitement has changed. So they checked and said that the heart rate has increased. So now, because they were still doing the induction, they said they are going to reduce the induction because it seems it has affected his heart rate. Yeah, so now when the change of discharge happens, and then we tell the nurses to come and check what is happening. They call the doctor. The doctor was he was not in the hospital, so they would just call him. Then when they talked, the doctor said, well, that is dangerous, so we will need to do an emergency CS as soon as possible. That's around 5:30 in the morning, 6. So the doctor says he's coming, so he'll be there maybe in an hour or so. And I'm like, 1 hour? And it's supposed to be an emergency. So we wait, and then she's told not to push. And normally, naturally, when it is at the time that the baby is almost coming, I hear the pushing comes naturally. Wow. So she's told, please do not push. So, and then she's there, she's hurting, she's in a lot of pain. I have to keep on massaging her back. and she's not supposed to push, So we wait for the doctor. 1 hour is over. And then I try to call him again. Where are you? He tells me, well, I'm on the way, but there's traffic. Okay, I was like, so how long do you think you'll get here? He says, around 45 minutes. I was like, wow, 45 minutes is a lot. So we wait, 45 minutes are over. I call again. He said, I'm still in the traffic.
That is on Mombasa Road.
So at that point, I was like, Kwani, where do you live?
Yeah, where do you live? These are kind of questions we ask ourselves, not necessarily because we are interested in the answer. In fact, it is the last thing we care about. I am sure the doctor's residence wasn't something Mike was interested in. But what do you do when things aren't going your way? You can say anything. You can ask answerless questions. You can even talk to yourself. Because all of a sudden, a mere 45 minutes has become eternity. And when that happens, you know it's time to call on the one who created time. Maybe he can speed up the clock. And that is exactly what Mike did.
I called Pastor Albert. I told him, you know what, Pastor, we are here. The good thing about Pastor, he was actually aware that we are in the hospital. So he kept on following up to check on us. How is it going? So he was just waiting in the morning to tell him the baby is here. So we talk at that time, and I tell him, we have gotten an emergency. The doctor he told us it's supposed to be an emergency CS after she has gone through labor the whole night. And now the scary part is on the way. He said he will get here 3 hours ago na bado hajafika. So we are just there. And Pastor prayed with me right there. And God is amazing because immediately we said amen and we hung up the phone. I called the doctor immediately, and then he told me I'm here. After almost three hours, that's when he comes now. That's around 10. Okay. So we were there waiting, and a bit scared now, but I was almost now happy and a bit relaxed because the doctor is here, the baby is going to come out, and he had said he only takes 30 minutes before the baby comes out. And actually after 30 minutes, the nurse comes out with the baby, and the baby is beautiful and alive. I was really thanking God and calling people and telling them the baby is here. But it was a bit dark, so I remember I asked their nurse, kwani already akona kala? The nurse laughed and said, he's okay. Then they took him to the nursery. So many people entered just to see Sarah and the baby, but they did not bring the baby to the mother. The baby was as a nursery. So I told them, the pastor wants to pray for the baby. The nurses tell us, the immune system, they usually say the immune system is a bit low. So when we have many people in the room, when you're atamshika, it can be affected. So they brought the baby, pastor prayed for him, and the mother held him. And then after that, after 20 minutes, they came and took the baby. They told us, we have to take this baby in because he needs to do some tests. But then they stayed with the baby for another 1 hour, 2 hours. Every time I go there, the baby is in the nursery. And the next moment I found washamweka kwa incubator. So we were all concerned. Is the baby okay? So they didn't want to give us the information fully, but I think at some point now the nurse told me, I will have the pediatrician come to talk to you. So again, we were now anxious. We want to know what is up with the baby. The guy now who helped in delivering the baby, he told us the baby is okay. He scored well. But now here the pediatrician who is now given the baby after the guy now has finished his work, tells us the baby was born, but he's a blue baby.
When you have been through a short eternity of a trying moment a few minutes ago, the last thing you want to hear is, we have a problem. And life presents each one of us with such opportunities once in a while. At this time, Mike and his family were riding the wave of uncertainty in life, when things seemed to move so slow yet so fast at the same time that we seem to be losing grip of the situation. These are the times when our faith is called to the stand, the very substance of things we hope for and the evidence of things we can't see.
After many tests, they say the test results will come the following day. We come out the following day. So he has to stay in the incubator and the oxygen. So that night, we were happy the baby is here and alive, but then we were so worried.
Yeah.
So we were just calling on God. This is your baby, please, please just do your miracle.
So I remember in the morning the pediatrician comes. She tells us that she's okay, as in she's satisfied that it's nothing to do with the heart. And so they did a blood test. So after the results came, we were told that it was a blood that had been infected. So she told us that the baby would be under antibiotics for 5 days. So I remember the 5 days were also hard because being a CS mom, I heard that there was that part of healing, there was that part of going to check on the baby and all that. So I would say that it was difficult. So after 5 days, I remember there was another test that was to be done to make sure now that the infection had cleared. I told Mike that I would not sleep in that hospital that day again, because now it was after 5 days, and nilikuwa na hii imani that my baby is now okay, like the infection has cleared, I remember that day I stayed in the nursery for almost for around 5 hours, just there seated, nikiangalia tu hiyo machine nione kama itateremka ama itafanya nini, itapanda ama itakaa tu normal. And I thank God because that day it didn't change at all. It was normal for like 5 hours. The pediatrician comes, they say that they have to do another test. So they did the tests. And when the results came, we thank God because the infection had cleared. So now it was a process of doing what? Of process your clearance. So my husband went to check the bill. The bill was around 250,000. Yeah. And in my workplace, because I had a cover, walikuwa na cover only 120. So I remember I decided to call the Jubilee guys. Okay, they were only covering me, but they were not covering the baby. So nikasema, let me try. Maybe I could talk to the Jubilee guys. Na wafanye nini? Na wakubali kucover mtoi pia.
Jubilee Insurance.
Yeah, Jubilee Insurance, yeah. So I called them. So they told me that we cannot cover the baby, but now again you have to call your HR ndio atupatie nini? Atupatie go ahead ya kucover mtoto. So I called my HR. Akaniambia, Sarah, it's not possible. It's not possible at all. The cover only covers you, not the child.
Sometimes it can seem like the odds are against you and nobody really cares. When Sarah and Mike had gone through all the motions, and just when they thought they had overcome, then came the icing on the cake in the form of an hospital bill, an amount they didn't have. And with her medical insurance refusing to recognize the new person, Sarah and Mike were staring at yet another obstacle. But while they were worrying on how they will settle the bill, little did they know that God was working behind the scenes and turning things in their favor. The bill was paid by the very same insurance and the couple walked home with their healthy newborn son.
So after going and coming back to the finance, they told me they are calling the insurance and they have said they are going to pay all the bill. So we felt that as a big miracle.
Yeah, we came home.
We came home, and from that day the baby has just been okay.
Yeah.
We really thank God. We are so thankful for what God did for us, for this baby. One thing I want to do is to appreciate the church, GPT City Center, starting from the pastor. Even Pastor Mary, when Sarah got pregnant, she would call you after every, almost every week. One of the members of Limuru Road Fellowship, came there, stayed with us through. She would come there in the morning, carrying a soup, a whole thermos of soup, just to make sure Sarah has a lot of milk. She stayed with us. She would come take care of Sarah, like her own daughter. We were so touched by that.
What I have to tell people, maybe our parents to be and other people that maybe might be going through challenges, is that there is a God, and there's a God who He is. There's a God who can do unexpectedly, because He did it for us, so He can do it for you.